Folks, I want to talk to you about ISIS and climate change and how they're interrelated and can be cured with one simple technology. After I'm done here, I want you to get the attention of Limbaugh, Hannity, the Heritage Foundation, the Patriots, Tea Party. All these people have a direct interest, and every time they ask for a petition and everything, they ask for a donation. And that destroys their whole objective. Many people cannot donate, but they do share the thoughts and everything that they're trying to develop. At any rate, ISIS and climate change is centered on CO2. And the CO2 is a result of the inefficient way that our internal combustion engines function. And ISIS depends on the market price of fuel to finance all their brutality and disgusting characteristics. This technology can change all that. And the simple thing that will change it is the legislation of the government. And this will show you how legislation can change all of this. You take the oil money away from ISIS and they'll collapse. They'll be fighting their wars with pea shooters and slingshots instead of heavy weapons and just crazy stuff. You'll have to follow through with what I'm saying. The way the oil money is funded, everything depends on the market price, and the market price is determined by what we would assume is supply and demand. But that's not the whole story. The problem with the supply and demand theory is anyone that produces a huge amount of oil can restrict it and affect the market price. But the best way to reduce the market price is through new technology such as mine that will improve the efficiency and just lower the demand because you don't need as much oil if you're burning it efficiently. And this does that. Right now, our government is financing all kinds of solar panels, wind turbines, technology that will not affect the market price, because people just are not going to accept a rooftop full of panels or a big windmill in their backyard. This technology puts the home generator that runs all day long and all night when the solar panels won't work at all. But you have to look at our presentation, our films on how this can work. And the government for 10 years now has denied any assistance. The automobile companies won't find our help at all because it disrupts their whole market strategy. But we can't build our own cars, but we can generate our own electricity. There's 140 million homes in this country, and many more millions of small businesses that can utilize and generate their own electricity very efficiently. At actually no cost at all. It can run off of solar, and the solar, not like the panels, but you can concentrate sunlight and store the heat from that in water or any mediums that are not dangerous like batteries. You know, solar panels have to store all their electricity in big battery banks, which are dangerous, and they wear out and they have to be disposed of sometime. But here's the thing. We use CO2 in a closed-loop system, and the CO2 can come from any source. You can make your own CO2 and run the system. But once it's in the system charged in our engine, it recirculates, and the only heat that it takes is very little. It can come from the stored heat or the solar directly, any source of heat at all. And it only has to heat up to 90 degrees. And you'll love this. It's clean. It reduces the CO2 in the atmosphere because you're not producing any more CO2. And it'll lower the market price down to a point where ISIS will not benefit. They can't afford to fight. And if they can't get money from the market price of oil, they're going to collapse. And we won't be spending billions of dollars trying to fight or go over there and argue with them. There won't be any argument about it. They won't have the finances to do this. And the other danger is ISIS is embedding people in our country. They're terrorists, and they could actually destroy the grid that everyone depends on. 100 men with 10 pounds of dynamite can knock down towers in isolated areas that would take years to replace. And if they did that, the whole country will be without power. I mean, everyone, the industries and everything will be shut down. You want to pay attention to this, but here's the other really good thing about the technology. Right now, the government forces the utilities to rebate 1 penny per kilowatt hour that goes back into the grid system. But their cost to generate electricity, even with coal, which is the cheapest fuel, only costs them 3 cents. If they paid us 3 cents for generating electricity, our generators would generate $5,000 to $8,000 a year that would go into your pocket. And legislation can make that happen. And that's why we need all the support from Glenn Beck, Hannity, limbaugh, the Heritage Foundation. Everyone will benefit from that. This 140 million households, each one of them has at least one elder legal voter, and some of them mostly have at least 2. We can get them on board, and they will naturally vote for who's trying to help them. Just like the Democrats justify their votes with the welfare system. And this is one way to combat that and eliminate it. Let's get together and try this.